All right, we all know why we're here. Summer finals are right around the corner, which means the LCS trophy is back up for grabs. So you know what we're gonna do?
I'm gonna win it.
No, I'm gonna win it.
No, I am.
Winning is for losers. We're gonna steal it. Any questions?
You said there were gonna be bagels?
Not a question. So here's the plan. The trophy's locked up in Riot's multi-level, titanium-fortified underground vault. Needless to say, security is gonna be tight. There are state-of-the-art 4K biometric cameras at every entrance and exit, and a laser field protecting the trophy at every angle. For the last 2 weeks, Lucio's been working there as our inside man.
And I said, I'm not even from here.
He'll tap into the grid and cut power to the building. Once disabled, the core control will activate the vault's emergency protocols and send out an immediate repair notification. Licorice, your muscle. You'll intercept that call and roll up in uniform.
Maintenance.
A shark costume? What the hell?
It's the only costume I own.
All right, new plan, Fudge, you're the muscle.
Maintenance.
And Licorice, that makes you our eyes in the sky from the mobile command center.
Fudge taking my job again. What else is new?
Meanwhile, I'll shimmy through the ventilation system as Fudge disables the guard. Any day now. Guard neutralized, I'll lower myself down. Carefully, I'll weave my way through the laser grid using my finely honed body. Every move, every gesture, perfectly executed, thanks to my rigorous years of training. Like a praying mantis, I'll move completely undetected. All right, I'm through. What'd I say? Piece of cake. New plan, new plan!
Don't worry, Kobe, you got this. I believe in you.
I got 20 bucks on the guards. Kobe, you need us to send in Fudge?
I got this.
Okay, Kobe, are we looking in there? Come on, Kobe, let's wrap it up.
I've got a badge. Headed to the vault. Hey, not so bad, right, guys? So, what are you gonna do with your share?
Don't worry, guys, the trophy is still intact. As finals tickets are officially on sale for the LCS Championship in Newark, New Jersey on August 19th and 20th. So make sure you head on over to Ticketmaster.com right now to claim your spot. And as we get ready for Game 2, Champ Select, we brought on Treatz here for the casting desk. Welcome back, as I know this is your second foray. What are you looking for between these two teams as we head into draft?
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking for mid-jungle from Golden Guardians to have some more early presence. I think it didn't really work out for the Nocturne and the Neeko last game. They kind of came close to coming back, but it didn't really work out in the end. So a bit more pressure from the mid-jungle if I'm Golden Guardians. A bit more clarity, I guess, in the comp. I think they were a bit too tunnel on the Neeko Nocturne, kind of diving in. I think a bit more flexibility would do them good.
Golden Guardians not looking too phased, though, based off the pre-chat lobby, or pre-lobby chat. They were joking about who would be better versus Europe. They were actually debating it, and they were like, you know, Summit versus a random EU top. Of course Summit's going to win. And then APA was like, but what about the pride of NA, Licorice? You have to put him up against a random EU top. And so both teams suggesting that the other one should go into the 4th place match.
Nice little bit of a bartering between the two teams. Like, hey, you know, we should send you guys to take on EU, as we are into draft select for Golden Guardians, as they already looked for their second ban, the Poppy being taken off the table. So far, Team Liquid not changing up any of their strategy, continuing with the Jace and the LeBlanc bans.
Interesting to see. Small adaptation. I wonder if they're going to keep with the heavy APA ban focus, if this is Triss coming in to Cassio this time instead. So wonder what they are particularly wanting to play against Cassio that they didn't want to in Game 1.
Yeah, I think in general, they're just gonna abandon the Neeko. I think they're just like, it was not worth it. We tried one game, not gonna work out again most likely. So I just expect GG to do a completely different draft now that Tristana's open. Something that they're looking at for sure. Maybe they're just gonna 1P it themselves. They know the AP likes to play it, so if I'm GG and I leave open Tristana, I'm probably just gonna first pick it.
Yeah, and they had dropped the Xayah ban as well for that Poppy as well. Team Liquid taking note of that, and I think that was the biggest debate. It's like, do we want to give up Xayah? Do we want to give up Tristana? Looks like Golden Guardians will be able to get their hands on this one. It can still be flexed between Gori and Stixxay. Team Liquid probably the only other team that has consistently flexed that pick, but they can always go for Kai'Sa once again and run it back.
I appreciate the fan sign meta. It's evolved quite a bit in the playoffs. Everyone has very, very funny signs.
I'm looking for maybe a Sejuani for TL here. I think Sejuani plus a counter pick. They go for the Rell instead, which is also flex, so they could go for Sejuani later. I'm curious to see what APA will play into Tristana if it's in the mid lane. I think his champion pool is not that good into Tristana. It plays a lot of squishy champs, so if I'm GG now, I just look for something like the Maokai or the Ivern or Sejuani even, and kind of just make it a very easy front-to-back draft with the AD pressure from Tristana in mid lane.
Yeah, and as you already called out here, Treatz, you know, Golden Guardians seemingly changing up what their mid-jungle duo picks that they wanted to look for. Nocturne Neeko, more of a level 6, hey, we're going to turn off the lights and try to flank you from multiple angles side, but now with Tristana, you have a lot more early pressure. Maokai, you can always just stop your full farming clear and then look for an early gank, try to burn flash for flash on Maokai, and try to put APA in the dirt.
So this is actually Gori's first Tristana game of this split, but he played it quite a bit in Summer Split, and he is someone who's very proficient on the champion, just lean towards counterpicking the Tristana more often than not. But through all of this, somehow Licorice's Rumble has gotten through.
I mean, it's a really good pairing with the Maokai and the Tristana. Obviously, with Tristana mid, you're kind of lacking the damage, and I mean, APA is just gonna take Neeko instead. I think TL's draft is very aggressive and GG is kind of soaking a lot, so it's going to be a very different game from last game. I think this time around GG has a bit more flexibility and TL is on the kind of early game comp here.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the adaptations. The Rumble, of course, was open last game, but it was the first pick Neeko that you don't want double AP solo lanes here. Yeah. Does enable that, but I am very happy to see Yeon back on the Kai'Sa. I thought he had a great game, able to slowly funnel gold his way and end up kind of carrying those late game fights in damage. The Pyosik was very good as well. We'll have to see what he ends up on. Could be on the Rell, could flex it around, seeing the Nocturne ban themselves out of Golden Guardians.
There's a lot of flexibility still in TL's draft with the Rell. It's kind of like, you know it wants to go jungle, but you still have to ban stuff like the Nocturne just because the combo with Neeko is that strong. It will be interesting to see if Core will just take the Rell or if Pyosik will take it. I kind of expect TL to pick top on 4, obviously with the Rumble shown already, that makes the most sense. Not sure what Summit's best choice is into it. I would expect it to be an AD champ, maybe something like the Gnar. I think it's something that he prefers in this type of matchup.
Team Liquid starting to hover over what other options that Stixxay would go for. Last time they banned the Zeri and the Aphelios out, but then it was the Ezreal that slipped away to Stixxay's hands. And Team Liquid, There should be no way that they lock this in since they already have their marksman in Kai'Sa. I mean, that would be a crazy flex. I mean, where are you sending everything else then?
You send the Neeko top, easy. Not gonna happen though.
You're right.
Oh, Aatrox as well. Okay, that's really interesting. I think that kind of tells me that the Rell wants to go jungle. I was thinking if they would go for something like the Sejuani Jax or Sejuani Renekton into Rumble. That's a very lethal combo. I think now if I'm GG and I'm picking bot lane, I'm just looking for something safe. There's a lot of dive on TL and a lot of pressure, so Zeri, Rakan, very good at absorbing pressure.
And I love this combo. Rakan can set up for that equalizer to guarantee true once you have multiple people charmed up and knocked up on that engage. Multiple ways to disengage fights as well with Golden Guardians. Whether you want to pick the fight on your own or if you want to force them on your own terms, Team Liquid now have to round off this composition. Do they want to lock in a support counter for Core or look for something for Pyosik and give him the Rell instead? And it looks like we are back to the Viego reset hype train.
I'm surprised to see him go back to it. He has had 2 great Viego games so far, so clearly he's very competent on the champion. Pyosik starting up another loser's bracket run like he had last year on DRX, but this time I feel like there's a lot better kind of like peel with the Maokai and the Rakan, all these things to make it more annoying for Viego to actually go in.
Yeah, there's a lot of early pressure on TL. I'm kind of scared for GG's bot lane in this draft. They don't really have a lot of wave control. They get pushed in early, and then mid jungle is also losing from the side of GG. So TL is looking for a really aggressive mid jungle into bot type of game, whereas GG I think wants to use the Rumble and kind of Tristana to balance out the early game and just kind of scale up.
Yeah, and if you're accelerated with this Team Liquid composition, you have a lot more burst damage coming in from both of your solo lanes. This is now a champion that Summit can actually group up with the rest of Team Liquid versus something like the Fiora you want to just stay split pushing. So Team Liquid have a more formidable team fighting comp.
But I also wonder if Golden Guardian's going to adapt to how they sent their resources early, because it was multiple ganks onto Summit that took a lot of resources out of the jungle. You know, River spent his flash, he sent his ultimates up there. They got like 1 kill through the first 15 minutes, and Summit mostly did a very good job of staying even in lane while able to absorb all that pressure. And so, you know, I think if you're Team Liquid, you're like, yeah, do that again. Summit's on weak side, he's on Aatrox. We'll hopefully just leave him to be self-sufficient while we go and make these plays around mid-bot.
Yeah, TL's comp is very early game focused. If they can't really get ahead early game, I definitely see GG taking this one. I think they have a lot of options, so GG really has to play smart with their early resources and make sure that Maokai just doesn't fall behind just covering lanes the entire early game.
Yeah, it would be quite the flip from game 1 where Golden Guardians, it seemed that they were the ones forcing more plays and Team Liquid were reacting it. And now the contrast is going to go their way as Team Liquid sending multiple members, all 5 towards the top side of the map.
CoreJJ with the wall hop on the Rell, going to try and find Licorice here.
And this could be dicey, but we do have a sideline interview with Gabby and Golden Guardians coach Spooks.
All right, as we potentially get into some action, Spooks, give me the lowdown on the team room after that first game.
Yeah, spirits are still high. I think everyone realized we should have closed the last game out. Early game was rough. We definitely could have done more early game, like particularly with our level 1. So I think spirits are still high. We know if we get to the mid game even against TL, we're at an advantage. So yeah, we're chilling.
Yeah, and lots of tools this time around. You know, they're going for the Viego pop-off again, but tell me how everyone's feeling, getting some comfort, the Rumble coming through for Licorice.
Yeah, I mean, this draft, in the scheme of this meta, this draft is really strong. So, you know, I think we just need to do the fundamentals well. I think we have an advantage in draft this game, so yeah.
Have faith in the bounce back. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Back to game 2.
Thanks, Gabby and Spooks, as we now resume game 2. Looks like a little bit of a leash for the bottom side of the map for both teams, as this will allow Pyosik and River to have the option to either full clear towards the top side of the map, or it seems it will be a little bit more volatile between the Rumble and the Aatrox.
Yeah, both junglers are gonna look towards top in the early game. I think mostly for defending on the side of GG. I think they can win the 2v2 if Licorice has a good trade because of the Ignite, but as Spooks kind of said, if everything goes according to plan and they get into mid-game even, they're really confident in this draft. And I would also agree with him that GG is very favored in this draft.
I think Team Liquid's such an interesting team because they have a lot of unique pocket picks in the meta. You know, like APA has his unique champion pool, we talked about that, but even Core has like the Tarek he can bust out. Summit obviously has a lot of his carry champions. Pyosik is now on the Viego, so they're a hard team to kind of evaluate because they do have some champions that you're just not seeing that much in other places.
So far, Pyosik is a little bit ahead of the curve here, already finishing his Raptors before River is getting a chance to cross over into the top side of the map. And Pyosik actually going for a defensive ward. Some early trading on the bot side of the map. Huhi taking a large chunk, whereas CoreJJ and Yeon still maintaining HP.
Yeah, both junglers' path got confirmed right now, so everyone has full information. Gori is going to get a pretty good trade here on APA.
Exhaust coming out early from huhi as Stixxay and huhi are actually finding a way to really brute force their way into maintaining lane advantage.
Well, as you heard Treatz say, once you know where the jungler is, the lanes of Golden Guardians go, great, let's jump on them. And both bot and mid take very aggressive trades.
Cleanse from Stixxay still has flash. huhi has his flash as well. While Yeon and CoreJJ down in HP, but still have their summoners to play with.
I'm surprised that GG has bot push in this matchup. With the cleanse and the exhaust from the side of GG versus heal ignite, there's so much more power on the side of TL. Maybe it's a strat for them to give push in early game and kind of look for a counter with Pyosik as he's coming into bot side here.
Yeah, it feels like Golden Guardians were the more aggressive ones, spending both their summoners to win out on kind of the health trade and getting prio for that reason, but like you said, Team Liquid have the better combat summoners if an all-in comes in with Pyosik or something like that.
And so far, as you called it out, Treatz, Pyosik looming right back around, but knowing that there might not be a chance for him to really find anything on the Stixxay and huhi, he's going to look for the reset instead.
Yeah, TL needs to get this wave in though, and Pyosik just backed, so they're kind of in a predicament right now. GG has full wave control. They don't have sums, as you said, but they still have pretty good health advantage and mana advantage, so maybe Yeon will just take this base. It looks like Pyosik's actually just going to run straight down. He will probably skip his grump and just help them unfreeze this, so this creates a lot of pressure on bot side, and meanwhile in top lane, there's a free window here for River.
Yeah, it's both lanes are kind of in an awkward spot here for Pyosik. Had to decide if he wants to try and bail out bot lane or protect top side, and ends up going bot, so Licorice now is in a great spot to kind of freeze this wave. You can see Summit forced to TP back in here, an awkward buy, having to grab null magic and boots.
Wait, he's not spotted by the ward? That's crazy. Oh, well, now he's spotted, and they're going to be able to ping him out. And as long as Golden Guardians bot lane can waste as much time as possible, River can get a huge advantage in deciding whether he wants to be here for the counter.
Yeah, but like we said as well, TL wants to play really aggressive in the early game, and it's just kind of become this defensive game. Licorice is overheated, so I think he's fine in this trade. Looks like Summit has no cooldowns. But yeah, like I said, the early game for TL, they want to be aggressive, but now Pyosik is just kind of trying to unfreeze every lane and help every lane, so it's turning into a game of like, GG is just freezing every lane. Where do we go? What can we do? And if this is the case and GG is just farming, they're winning.
Yeah, Pyosik feels like a bit of a firefighter running around the map, trying to fix all the lay states.
River, does he want to burn flash onto flash? But Yeon and CoreJJ get enough distance so that River's not able to chase them down. But as you mentioned here, Treatz, like, this wave is so bad for the side of Team Liquid's bot lane that Golden Guardians get to maintain it here in front of the tower.
Yeah, now Pyosik has respawning camps on top side, so he has to path bot to top, and then there's no dragon opportunity either for TL, so it's kind of a disaster early game here, even though the gold is not really saying it. It's only a 700 gold lead so far. It's kind of the pressure and the way that TL is forced to respond.
I mean, you have to remember though, it's only 5 minutes in, almost 6, and just a 700 gold advantage off CSing and wave states is a pretty big lead for Golden Guardians, given that we also expect them to have pretty strong mid to late game team fighting.
Oh, APA, Flash Pop Blossom, they turn their tails right onto Gori, but not enough damage. Just one more on attack. It's the Flash Q from Pyosik as the Blade of the Ruin King finds its mark. River flashing around top of Pyosik, knowing that he's got nowhere to go. But the stun, the miss, River has the twisted advance, but Summit is here for the counter re-engage, and they find 2 kills in the end.
Team Liquid instantly delete that gold lead that we were just hyping up with a nice skirmish around the mid lane. APA so good on playmaking with this Neeko pick. Gori chunked low from some of the trades, and they just hop right on top of him here. They think they can turn around because they get the root onto Pyosik, but that just baits Gori forward for the flash ult from APA and get that first kill.
Yeah, that was perfect as well. Pyosik landed his W there on Gori, so he couldn't really flash away instantly, and when he could flash, he was 1 health, and River knows that he'll probably die if he goes through his kill, but it's one of those where you're just like, might as well try and see what happens. Summit comes in for the kill there, but the game is kind of evened out now. I think TL needs a few more of those to kind of get the game snowballing. Getting a dragon would be really good as well, and it looks like with the position of River that they will secure this one.
And 4 members stacked on top. APA also making sure to stop by the dragon first before checking out the mid wave. First dragon goes over to Team Liquid.
No flash now though on APA and Pyosik for this Herald. Licorice has obviously ult, ignite and flash, so I think it's a kind of tricky Herald to get for TL now. I think they'll need to use their bot lane if they want to secure this one, and it's a really important objective for TL this game, so they can keep up the snowball.
It's a lot easier for Golden Guardians to secure it as well. Nature's Grasp is just such a huge area of effect spell to control the field. Even if you're not using it to engage, you can just use it to force Team Liquid off. So I imagine I'm in the same boat with you as well. Golden Guardians seem favored for the Rift Herald taking.
Definitely feels like if both teams are just kind of staring at each other in River, it's very hard for Team Liquid to find an angle. It's going to be a lot about can APA and Pyosik get onto a backline, start resetting through the fight, because if you're just sitting there with a Maokai Rumble ult dropped on your head, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. The nice thing is that assist did help Summit actually grab his Merc treads pretty quickly here, so it does make it a fair amount easier. Already 20 CS down though.
Yeah, I think this also just says a lot about the draft, because if TL doesn't really get an advantage on the mid jungle in the early game, they made the play just before Herald, so it means that they don't have any pressure up for the Herald itself. So even though they get some kills, the objective should still, in my opinion, go to Golden Guardians here. And if TL forces a fight, I think GG should be favored.
Equalizer, Nature's Grasp available. Gori doesn't have sums, but he can still buster shot someone away as he's going to look for an aggressive trade, but APA is able to psych him out with the clone, so it doesn't take as much damage, but Gori making sure that he can force that mid-wave prio and guaranteed Rift Herald as no one contests River, and he secures it.
Yeah, I mean, APA just spam pretending to be Kai'Sa, sending his clones out as an all-in here on Yeon.
Oh, and nice engage from huhi, knocking up Yeon, so he's not able to get any damage out. CoreJJ forced to run away with the crash down. Exhaust onto Yeon. Still has a flash, but Stixxay's looking for the bullets on the CoreJJ. Neither of them go down, but a lot of pressure in Golden Guardian's favor.
I like the attempt there. They had the early 6, but they couldn't actually convert it into a kill. Now it's Team Liquid's turn on the other side of the map.
Nice flash from Licorice, dodging the stun from Pyosik, and he doesn't have a flash to follow up with, so Licorice able to dodge out on that one.
Good Pyosik tried there with the flash predict, didn't land with the Nimbus Cloak from Licorice. He's pretty fast.
The Nimbus Cloak tech to make sure you have the move speed after. This does open up a potential counterplay. Now that they have the Herald completed for River, they can go get that shove and drop that to continue funneling gold into Licorice.
Does someone want to stay here? He has Pyosik here to defend him so that River cannot threaten with a dive. Equalizer and Nature's Grasp still available from both the top laner and a jungle of Golden Guardians.
Oof.
And Pyosik is now dipping him, and this could be dicey for Summit here.
And we can see Rakan and Zeri coming up here as well. They're just completely leaving bot lane. They have the Herald and they want to make a top play right away.
Gonna be difficult here. It's all darkness for Summit. He has no idea where the rest of the members are. Only vision on Gori in the mid lane, who he has slunk around to the right side.
An experience.
No quickness available, but the Nature's Grasp into the knockup, into the burning carpet. Golden Guardians make that look easy. And the Rift Herald can be dropped here, and all those plates going into Stixxay's pockets.
Such a nice setup out of Golden Guardians there. River wrapping around to the backside of the turret to drop the ult forward, basically giving nowhere for Summit to go. He just accepts his fate, doesn't burn his flash, doesn't pop. He popped his ult, but you know, it's going to be back up. So just ends up dropping there, and a nice bit of gold funneled into Stixxay.
Yeah, Yeon might get 2 plates back, but it's a really, really big play here by GG. And this comes back to the point where they did with the ults, when they flashed in on the bot lane and kind of traded a lot of health, because this let them get the push, which then let them have the first reset and run to top lane. So it was a really smart use of tempo on the side of GG to kind of make this overload. Pyosik's looking for Stixxay, but it looks fine. But really, really smart adaptation there by Golden Guardians, just kind of giving up bot lane and giving all the gold to Stixxay with those plates.
And it goes back to what you were talking about with the drafts at the beginning of the game. If Golden Guardian is able to go even, let alone start winning ahead in gold, then that's bad news for Team Liquid, because you want to start making things happen. You want to get the snowball on your side. Otherwise, it is so difficult to play into Golden Guardian's composition.
I mean, this is, I feel like, similar conversation to the last game as well, though, where like Team Liquid don't have a ton of front line. It's like just CoreJJ again. He's going to have a lot of responsibility on finding engages, and they still somehow manage to, after losing a Baron, win those games. So it is a bit concerning, but I think last game should give a little bit of confidence. The difference was last game they had a gold lead for the entire early game, which then got away from them, and then they won. Here it is Gold Guardians with the tempo.
Yeah, I think Golden Guardians as well just has a kind of easier scaling draft, a way easier front to back. They don't really have as weak side lanes as they did last time either, so they're kind of winning the front to back 5v5 and also winning the side lane. So from the side of Golden Guardians, if they can deny a dragon, they don't even need to fight the next one necessarily. They can kind of just keep the game going as it is and just be happy with it.
Yeah, even these lane assignments are pretty annoying for the side of Team Liquid. Summit can do so much less under turret.
And it's a repeat visit. River, it almost looked like he wasn't even needed on that top play. They had so much damage from Stixxay and huhi alone, but the Nature's Grasp locks him down for the guaranteed kill. And this should be the first Brit going the way of Stixxay and the rest of Golden Guardians. As the rest of Team Liquid, we're looking for a play seemingly on the mid and the bottom side of the map, but with first Brit going Golden Guardians' way, they are way ahead in gold.
For something very nice out of Team Liquid here, despite the fact that the play went massively for Golden Guardians, is CoreJJ's positioning is keeping Licorice too far away to easily ult the wave. He did just get it off there, but that was after Yeon took 2 more turret plates because of that zoning potential. So that was decently played out of Team Liquid, but yet again, Golden Guardians getting the better of the trade.
Yeah, TL with 2 dragons, Golden Guardians with a 2k gold lead. I think everyone's kind of happy on the side of Golden Guardians right now. The gold is very evenly distributed. I think only jungle is kind of behind there for TL. I think the next dragon is going to be the big contest point, because then we're also going to see some items on the side of Gori and Stixxay. Stixxay just finished his static shiv as well, so it just feels like this early game TL was always on the back foot. They were kind of responding to GG while it should be the other way around.
Yeah.
But GG wasn't even fighting them. They were just using the pressure they had from the lanes and kind of using that against TL. So it was a really, really clean early game from Golden Guardians so far, and also very smart.
Yeah, big difference too is the plays that they sent at Summit early have worked out this time around. It was a kind of similar-ish game plan in game 1. It was just that Summit didn't die, really, and he was able to absorb all that pressure. This time, the plays have been converted pretty effectively, and that is one of the problems is he is not really online. He is tied with Licorice, both of them playing on the weak side, but the rest of the map has been pretty heavily accelerated for Golden Guardians.
And I imagine Golden Guardians is going to be setting their sights onto Rift Herald as it spawns in the next minute. Pyosik is already here on the top side of the map to make sure that he can hover for summon and get this pressure in. But they need to start setting up vision control, because as you said before, Treatz, even though the next objective fight might not be this third dragon, there's still moments where Golden Guardians are starting to get those first items online across the board.
Yeah, and even if GG loses the objective, as long as they don't lose a lot of kills or towers in the process, I think they're fine with it. In this comp, I think at 15 minutes, if they're down 1-2k, they're fine with it. They have a double AD carry with Rumble, Maokai late game, so it's kind of up to TL to keep forcing plays and kind of playing aggressive. They haven't found a lot of windows yet, but with APA having flash, I think the next fight can be a big one.
Yeah, speaking of the first items coming through, the Raafaa belt as well really helps APA and Neeko make a lot of plays. We've seen him in late game situations before, win team fights, finding key members of backline in the regular season, had a monstrous one versus TSM, so it is still possible for them to blow up one of those carries of Golden Guardians, those 80 carries, if you get on top of them, pretend you're a minion hiding in a brush, some of those tricky plays.
First one to seize them on the Herald here, but it looks like they're still just... Well, now they're walking into contest. I really think they have to contest this one.
Oh, if Gori can interrupt him with the Buster Shot, he rocket jumps. Can he get the ulti? Oh, but he's in vision, so Gori not able to stop him. Now it's a 5-on-4 against Golden Guardians in this Rift Herald pit. They bully them off, and they're able to win the objective.
Nice little play out of Team Liquid there to bully them off, but it did cost them their teleport down into the mid lane there, and Gori is on the bot side, so he's instantly shoving this one, trying to answer back, getting a turret as quickly as he can.
I mean, if Gori can respond with some tower damage back here, it's not the end of the world for GG. It was a smart use of the TP advantage there for APA. He knew that Gori didn't have TP and he had to run down to catch the wave, and with that he just kind of TPs up to the Herald and secures it. But with that, Gori can push down the spot tower, and the Herald is basically negated already.
Yeah, see, the only thing about Tristana is you're like, great, we used our TP advantage and we left Tristana on the bot side of the map. Damn it.
Still a gold advantage for Golden Guardians, and it's still looming over of what we have set in the draft phase of the beginning of this game. Golden Guardians playing even or ahead, this composition is going to just have far more control and more opportunities to wade force fights on their own terms.
A pretty interesting choice here for Summit's Mythic going the Duskblade. We kind of talk about how a lot of their team fighting is probably burst oriented, and he's like, yep, it is. I am not going Gourd Drinker. I'm trying to assassinate one of these backline carries right out the gate with the rest of the Team Liquid engaged. So this is basically a 5-man dive comp, because even Yeon will be kind of functioning. He does probably going to go the poke build, given that he has Hail of Blades, but you can still chip someone low and then try and insta-give someone, and even then AP Kai'Sa's burst still is pretty insane-o.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer that from the side of TL, because they know that they won't win a slow front-to-back fight in this game. They understand the comps, and they understand that they have to kind of go in, one-shot someone, wombo combo a few people, and kind of blow them up to win the fight.
It goes back to what you were saying. You need some of that explosiveness, and you need to get the burst, especially when you are running a Viego, because you need that burst to get the resets rolling, and that is how you can start swinging things in your favor. Dragon coming up in just under a minute. Huhi scouting out vision, finding Pyosik and both Yeon, and they force him out of the jungle.
I like this kind of early vision setup for the side of Golden Guardians. Understanding the importance of the pick potential that we're talking about with Team Liquid is, well, we have to have vision to make sure that there's no unseen flank angle that comes through.
Maybe an engage on CoreJJ, sidesteps in, re-engage with the Magnustorm. Pyosik's right on top of him as well. Huhi forced to use the quickness and getting the charm out. And they're able to disengage off of that one. Team Liquid burning a couple ultimates there from Golden Guardian's side, but neither team still ready to force another fight.
Licorice doesn't have TP or ult right now, so I'm curious to see if he'll run down to this dragon and fight it. I think GG can still fight this though, with the Maokai ult still up and kind of the vision control in the area. TL doesn't feel confident giving this up, but I really think they have to. And it's kind of annoying right now for TL because they want to control the map and kind of find picks, but you can't do that if you don't have vision. And with the double shiv on the side of GG, just constantly pushing waves and getting vision over and over again, TL needs to look for a side lane play to kind of explode that, but GG is playing really patiently and not giving them a window.
Yeah, the fact that huhi was able to bait the teleport from Summit there, you can see made Team Liquid totally fizzle on their decision to attempt a Dragon contest. He just ran right back up to the top side and started getting that pushing in their favor again. They do have the Rift Herald up here, so we'll see if they choose to commit that or if they want to save that for maybe trying to break mid lane turret. But yeah, nice play by Golden Guardians. huhi baiting the engage, baiting a lot of ults and TPs out, and then just still resetting.
Yeah, I think APA is the key player in this game for TL. If he's not in the fight and pop blossoming a few people, it's going to be really hard for them to have the burst to actually kill someone on the side of GG. So if I'm TL, I'm looking to break out APA from the side lane and get him involved in the plays. Even though it's hard, that's the only kind of thing they can do. And they will have to sack some farm and some pressure for it, but it's a necessary way to play the game to like bring it forward.
Yeah, you have to make those sacrifices to find the vision control so you can look for creative flank angles with the teleport as another potential one in the making. Rift Herald going to be dropped here in the mid lane.
Yeah, this is a good way to force a fight. I think GG is just going to kind of slowly hit it and let the tower get chunked.
Yeah, huhi's trying his best to stop the charge coming through, but does drop. Not enough pressure, though, from the rest of Team Liquid to actually follow that up with a turret. So for Golden Guardians, that's not that bad, given that you know Shelly's basically going to get a charge off. To not actually losing a gold off of it's pretty huge.
AP has TP here, so if I'm TL, I'm looking for a fight with GG. I think GG's a bit overextended here. He's TPing in.
They throw out the ulti and the equalizer, and they just burn someone down before he gets a chance to fight. Pyosik is waiting on APA. Three-man pop blossom, multiple members knocked up. Can they find the reset? Pyosik is burning down River with the equalizer and the burning on River, and now he's the Maokai. Can he look for another reset here? He has to join up and link up with APA. Oh my goodness, over the wall, triple kill. Now Gori and huhi are in his sides. He's looking for another one. Gori's forced to flash. He finds the sun. That's the quadra. Pyosik looking for more. huhi's forced to run. The Q's shattering strike stun. huhi's burning down. It's the pencils for Pyosik.
Pyosik is going crazy! A pentakill to keep the game alive for Team Liquid. He does not want the loser's bracket run to potentially end there. Such a massive play and so well done by him. One massive disjoint on an ultimate over a wall in the middle of this fight, but started out looking very dicey given that squishy build from Summit gets annihilated right out the gate. I think it's just greedy from GG in the start. I think that they didn't realize that AP had TP up again, and he gets the three-man pop blossom into Pyosik reset city. I mean, this was crazily played. I think Pyosik failed this ult and had to flash, but he still has another ult here coming up on Stixxay.
Yeah, this one over the wall where he gets the extra range by getting halfway over and is able to just tag him for that kill. That starts giving the reset. And here I thought he was dead, but is able to have enough damage to get the third reset, excuse me, onto the Tristana.
I mean, really well played by Pyosik, and I think GG was patient the entire game. They were not patient for one single play, and Pyosik gets a pentakill, and they're on the Nash.
River doesn't have ultimate for another few seconds here. AP another flank, right onto the backline. Stixxay's completely isolated off. Equalizer's burning, but it's not enough damage. Pyosik has found his resets once again, and the rest of Golden Guardians, their core has been shattered. And without the backline and the damage, it's an easy pickup for TL.
Second fight in a row. APA finds the backline, gives them the resets to start going through. Yeon goes flying in. Golden Guardians wanted to punish Pyosik for dying at the end of that play and thinking, hey, if the jungler's down, we can force a fight. But again, they lose track of APA, like you said, Treatz.
This is really greedy by GG, I think. I don't think they have a clear advantage. They don't have almost any ults. I'm not sure what they're doing here. I mean, TL is really happy to take this fight. AP coming from a really good angle, gets a two-man ult on the carries, and Yeon flying in, reset city once again. GD, you guys need to chill out a bit.
They're definitely losing their mind there. And I have to say, APA didn't just get the one on Gori, but he also disjointed the Stixxay wall ride to make sure he was in range for Summit to get that kill as well. So monstrous team fighting out of APA. It's one of the things that has led to this Team Liquid summer resurgence. It's not been he's the best laner in the league or anything like that. He brought some stability to Team Liquid team fighting when that was always how they lost their games.
Now they're looking for Stixxay once again. They know that he doesn't have summoner spells. It's just easy pickings for Team Liquid. One more can they get off of this Red Bull Baron power play? They're already barreling through the mid tier 1, and they can easily take out tier 2.
Yeah, League is kind of crazy. When one play goes wrong, suddenly it snowballs into another play. You lose Nash, you lose a few kills, and the game is kind of snowballed on the other way around. So TL's looking pretty good right now. Summit's trying to escape.
Still burning from the flame spitter. Licorice gets a knockup from huhi, and they're able to take out Summit, but you got to deal with the members in the mid lane who have now barreled through into the inhibitor. And that inhibitor is going to fall. Team Liquid shall take their leave.
Nice little pick off into side lane for Golden Guardians, but it's pretty cope at that point to say, hey, we got him, as you lose your mid inhibitor, as well as Stixxay dropping yet again. They've been so proactive with their vision plays out of Team Liquid again, even here, not resetting, trying to bait Golden Guardians to walking into the jungle on this potential dragon spawn.
Oh, and they beat them right on in! They clipped Gori! I mean, I don't know what they were thinking, but they were hoping that they were not waiting in that bush, and now Pyosik is getting the resets once again, looking for Stixxay. Still no summoner spells to cleanse, but it's just to go down Yeon with the killer instinct, and Team Liquid are just farming the Golden Guardians at this point.
Yeah, that's going to be game. They have super creeps coming in. Summit's respawn with his teleport. Only huhi and Licorice left alive. He does have the Rumble ultimate, but it's Baron buffed up minions.
At 23 minutes, Equalizer will be expended by Licorice to try and clear the minion wave, but they are just taking down these Nexus turrets rapidly. And Team Liquid will try to end this series swiftly. They're up 2-0. They're on match point. Pyosik refusing to miss the championship weekend.
23.5-minute Game 2 victory out of Team Liquid. Golden Guardians had the early game in their hands the whole way through, but a couple of mid-game team fights off the back of APA flanks lead to a very fast victory.
I mean, I thought this game was done more than the last game, and TL just proved me wrong once again, so... I mean, Viego is really working out for Pyosik. He's having a crazy day on the pick.
Yeah, 11-2-3 this game. We talk about the setup out of APA, but it's Pyosik who's slam dunking those plays home. Multiple resets after the initial pickoffs by APA. The two of them together. We've talked about it all year long. They see the game the same way, and here they go, knowing that Golden Guardians are going to contest the Dragon, just camping this brush, and the two of them comboing together yet again. They can't speak the same language. Sometimes APA doesn't know what he's going to be getting in the draft, but at the end of the day, they see the game the same way, and they're able to make plays together.
Yeah, if you see your Neeko and your Rell jumping in, I think you know what it means. It means go kill the enemy, and they did that quite a few times at the end of this one.
And check this out. I just got word that Pyosik pentakill was the first ever LCS jungler pentakill we've had in the history of the league.
Insane stuff out of Pyosik, having a very, very good series here so far, and I think you're going to have to look for Golden Guardians. What do you do about this Viego? Are you really going to ban a Viego in this meta? You might have to, because it feels like he's unstoppable right now.
Yeah, he's played insanely well, and him and APA, they showed up when they needed it the most, and then I think Golden Guardians got really impatient after the first failed play. They also felt that the game was in their hands, and they kind of threw it away, and then it just kept snowballing. TL found more and more plays, and then obviously the end came in at 23 minutes, so that was a crazy one.
Yeah, and it's a crazy one, but for us, that's us on the casting desk. We're going to head on over to the LCS Lounge to break down Game 2.
Thank you, Raafaa. Before we get started, because we're going to want to get into that game, congratulations to all of you at home who topped your leagues in Fantasy LCS on Sleeper. For those of you who didn't make it to the winner's circle this time, come back next split for another shot at Redemption. I know I always make a Redemption joke here, so I'm not going to do it this time.
I appreciate that.
We're going to start off by listening to comms from that TL turn into the Pyosik pentakill.
Oh, I can't wait for this one.
I want to see how much I can understand.
We can look for a fighter. 나 싸움 걸 수 있어. 어때?
괜찮아, 괜찮아.
가줘.
Hey, watching TP, watching TP.
Coming. 바로 줘. 야. 좀 별리긴 해. 뭐야? 야, 봐줘. 봐줘. 비에고. 못 가라 이거. 야, 빼지 마. 반대패야. 넘어온다? 봐줘. 가만 here, only three. Yeah, fighting together. Fighting together. Good job, APA. Nice fight. 하나 봐. 가만히. 나이스. 죽여.
Coming.
탱. 나이스. 나이스. 흐름가 좋다. 풀스러워 흐름. good job. 나 이거 지우같이 갈게.
I love it.
As are the crowd reactions.
Yes.
I also like the little sneak in of like, you hear like all Korean and then like the good job APA and then the
Together, all together. There's a lot of things that I enjoy there. Yes, there's one point about the commentary or like the comms that are there, but also just give it up to Pyosik. He's having an insane series. He's doing really well throughout the playoffs. That's the first pentakill for a jungler in LCS history. That's insane to see from him. I was worried with, 100 Thieves bustering out. I was like, damn, maybe we won't see that great Viego play. No, it's right here.
Yeah, I mean, the Viego has been a really strong pick for them. And obviously, we did talk a little bit about GG's draft going into this. It's a lot more standard look, right? You have the Maokai set up for the Rumble ult, for Tristana and Zeri kind of firing off the backline. And they just got impatient, kind of like what Treatz said, right? Like, and as soon as this play did not end up going their way, they give the Pentakill over to Pyosik. We come back after the replay, they're already at Baron. And that was kind of the game-losing fight. We're gonna start in more towards the beginning, and take a look. Yeah, and take a look at how some of these plays did end up going. So I guess there was a little bit more mid lane attention here in this game, and this is kind of a mid lane 2v2 where APA and Pyosik actually do come out ahead on this one.
Yes, and they get 2 kills here with Summit rotating. So like, that was nice to see, even with Summit losing a little bit of CS up topside for it, like just on the same page and trying to get an advantage mid lane. I will say, one thing that Gori's been able to do in both games is get sizable CS leads, like 30 CS in game 1 at 20 minutes. This also was pretty sizable here, but Pyosik being able to find a gank there was great. This is something we wanted to talk about though.
Yeah, and one thing, I mean, this is a repeat dive. I'm gonna go back a little bit.
Yeah, let's go back a little bit.
I can't tell because they're both the same play.
Yeah.
But anyway, like we're going back, and we talked at the top of day about like, okay, how much do we think they actually will attack topside, right? And here I am gonna go.
Because the point that I wanted to talk about was the fact that in Spring Split, we saw a team like 100 Thieves that surprised a lot of squads with random swaps. Like basically swapping lanes when you see an angle. In this case, Rumble does really well in a 1v2 just because he can use his ulti to buy more time on a cannon wave and just generally get more experience. And if you're the one that's setting up the swap initially, enemy top laner doesn't really have a clue on a slow pushing wave, and so he just loses out so much. So in this instance, he dies on the first one. They'd go for it again when Rumble is bot lane holding the door. And another thing, a small point that I wanted to point out was that when Rumble was making the trek bot lane, it was good to see Kai'Sa and Rell basically stand in between 2 turrets to push him off. Now in this case, this is much later on, but earlier on, Rakan escorted him to the wave. So I thought this was great from Golden Guardians early to get the lead that we saw in the graphic.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the other big thing coming out, as we, of course, have to watch this play again,
that was beautiful.
Yeah, the repeat setup topside, swapping away from where you do have tempo with the Rumble to donate that to Stixxay, getting him ahead, and then it all kind of comes undone in this fight. I do wonder what kind of draft adaptations Golden Guardians are going to make, because again, I didn't necessarily feel like this was a draft diff as much as a like, we're a little too hyphy, the execution isn't there.
I think Team Liquid is just team fighting better, and that's the sad thing about it. Now we're at match point. The fact that Team Liquid in both games have just been, specifically Pyosik, has been finding better ganks, has been ahead of the pace than River, and then the fights that we're seeing here, this is actually credit to APA. That Neeko ultimate that was taken away from in game 1 as Golden Guardians first picked the Neeko, finally gets his hand on it and is actually making a really big imprint in the team fight. So Golden Guardians simply just need to be having better fights if I think they need to take this series back.
Yeah, and we'll see if they can. We'll see if they'll do anything about the Viego. They have chosen blue side once again, and game 3 is coming up after this short break.
아, 좀 별리긴 해. 뭐야? 야, 봐줘. 비에고. 못 갈아 입어. 야, 빼지 마. 반대패야. 넘어온다. 봐줘. Fighting together. Good job, APA. Nice fight. 하나 봐. 가만히. 나이스. 죽여. 캐논. 탱. 나이스.
Another flank, right onto the back line. Stixxay's completely isolated off. Equalizer's burning, but it's not enough damage. Pyosik has found his resets once again, and the rest of Golden Guardians' core has been shattered. I'm on a mission and I won't stop. No destination, but it's worth a shot. You gotta let me go. You gotta let me go. You gotta let me go.
I've got the Samsung 990 Pro series. Shall we get started then? This speed exceeds all expectations. Reading speeds are 40% quicker than before, and writing speeds are 55% faster. Through the in-house controller, the per-watt performance has improved up to 50%. The 990 Pro's nickel coating controller for its smart thermal solution technology controls heat. Playing computer games? Obviously the best.
Who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks? Hmm?
Typical beginner's mistake.
Yes, they all start from the outside.
So, will we help him?
What else? Here, try it with Red Bull.
Red Bull gives you wings.